How's it going, guys? Jacob here. Welcome back to Living Room Lessons, a series where I teach you a lesson from the keyboard in my living room. The first chord voicing is something that I heard Kenny Barron do, I think, for the first time. I think it was a solo piano piece, but at the very end, he did this crazy figure. But I was like, what is that voicing? I gotta figure out what that voicing is. Well, here it is in place. I'll take it up a fourth. So basically, it's an F minor 11, but it's a very, very slick way of voicing it. I'll show you. If you take what's in the left hand and move it up the octave, and now I play it normally, you just see it's just an F minor 11 by stacking thirds. It's nothing special. But if you take every other note and then the other, and you split those between the hands and move one down the octave, you get this awesome thing where you have two sets of stacked perfect fifths, like more than 2 octaves apart. So you have A flat, E flat, and B flat, which is your minor third, flat 7, and 11, which all perfect fifths. And in the left hand, you have your root, fifth, and 9. So when you put those together, and it sounds so cool moving parallel, because we all know perfect intervals sound awesome when you move them around. We love that sound, right? So this has that sound, but it's even more colorful. And it has this awesome dissonance here. And sometimes you can fill it in with other notes. But I really think the coolest thing about it is all the space. It's so spaced out. The next sexy voicing I'm going to show you is a major 13 chord with a flat 9. Yes, you heard me right. A flat 9 on a major chord. It actually can sound really beautiful, and also it has a lot to do with how you emphasize or not emphasize that color tone, that flat 9, that alteration, because you can really change how a dissonance speaks in a voicing by how loudly or how soft you play it. So let me give you the voicing. We'll play it in A major. So that's a real typical A major 13 voicing. Perfect fourths stacked here, an A in the bass. So you got root, major 7, third, and 13. But now I'm gonna add the flat 9 on top. So really what we have is an F sharp triad over A, which that by itself sounds pretty dissonant, and a lot of times you would see that triad in a dominant chord. That would be A13 flat 9. But when it's a major 7, because this sound is so soft, and like it's a pretty pleasant voicing. And then you add the 13, it gets even softer with that nice open 6th, and there's a perfect 4th there, and the 3rd. Just feels really nice and open, but then you add that flat 9. Oh, it's so pretty, but it has this in it. There's a minor ninth in there. How is that thing so pretty? It makes absolutely no sense. But it does, because there is a very clever distribution of consonants and dissonance. So consonant being something that sounds pleasant, stable, and dissonance being something that sounds not, the opposite, dissonant. So you have these very consonant kind of sounds, but then you also have dissonance. As dissonant as you can get, because it's half steps away from the root. Oh, it's horrible. You have both those notes together, so what you actually have are two half steps right next to each other. And it's amazing, because if I were to just play the more consonant notes in the chord, it sounds like that. But then the other two is so cool, because you're hearing the stable triad here. It's very pentatonic kind of thing. And then in the bass you have an A that's creating this whole world. When you find a cool upper structure thing that you really like, move that bass note around. There's a sexy chord right there. Total church vibes. Classic E major sharp 11 chord. Whew. So play around with shapes you like. Change the bass note. Shoot, change the upper part too. The next official sexy chord I want to talk about is the double diminished chord over dominance. I love this one. It's actually really simple if you already know what a diminished 7 chord is. So a diminished 7 chord is just minor thirds stacked together. That'd be a diminished 7, fully diminished 7. Now if you play the same one in both hands, then move one up a whole step. Now you get a beautiful sound. Now this is sort of similar in a way to the first chord we talked about, where you have these sort of two systems of the same intervals working together. Before it was perfect fifths, now it's minor thirds. But if you, again, superimpose them together in the same octave area, what you realize you have is a diminished scale. So you have your original diminished 7, then you have a whole step right above that. And basically what you're getting is all the notes that are a whole step above the chord tones, and those are your color notes. So let's say we put a D in the bass. Of course we could put any of 4 notes in the bass to be our dominant chord. And all of those notes are those notes that are the whole step above the chord tones. Just to be clear, I'm thinking kind of in 2 ways. I'm thinking about the diminished chord with the F sharp here as the root. So this is an F sharp diminished 7. But you can take that shape and use it as the upper structure of a dominant chord. So if you take that shape, and then again, as I was saying, put a D in the bass. Now you have a D7 flat 9. So the voicing I want to make is this. Oh, it's so cool. And let me tell you what you're getting. Okay, so you've got, at the root of it, you've got the 7 flat 9. D7 flat 9. All the color tones you have, which are coming from this other hand, is sharp 11, then the 13, then the root again, and the sharp 9. Which for dominant chords are really kind of the slickest alterations you could have. I mean, sharp 11 is so great, and then the 13, the sharp 9. But you're also getting, in the left hand, you're getting the 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7, all your chord tones, but you're getting the flat 9 too. So you're getting the sharp 9, flat 9, 13, sharp 11, and all of your chord tones, including the 5th, which maybe some would think is a little weird. A lot of times people are like, oh, you don't play the 5th with the sharp 11, but I don't know, I like it. It's because this is so stable. It's so symmetrical, yet so colorful at the same time. And moving it parallel, oh, it's so much fun. You can move it up the diminished scale too, but oh man, you can just have so much fun coming up with soloistic ideas using that shape too. It doesn't have to just be a chord. I really love that one. And just as an aside, one of my favorite tunes to use that voicing in is Body and Soul. Man, when it hits you right there. And the way the resolution, the tension and release, so nice. The next sexy voicing is really a twofer. You can really use it in two different ways. So the first way I will say using it, I'm gonna be in the key of A, just because. It is gonna be an A minor 7, add 13. Basically, it's an A minor 6 and an A minor 7 combined. We've got a typical minor 7 chord with a flat 7. Then we got a 13 too. Usually those are not together. Usually you've got either, like I said, a minor 6 or a minor 7. But together and spaced out in this way is a whole new thing. You can also add a 9 on the top. It's so very modal, you can hear more of the color of the entire mode, in this case Dorian. Oh, it's so good. Now the construction of it, the basic thing is you have, yes, an A minor 7 with your root, flat 7, flat 3. Then you have that 6th scale degree on top. Now Now I mentioned it being a twofer. That's because if you go a fifth down in the bass and you go to D, now play the same voicing with the perfect fourth here and a tritone here. So now what we have is we have a D7, so major third flat 7, but with the suspended fourth also in the voicing. And again, it gives you that fuller modal color. You're hearing and that shape is fun just to move around too. If you just take that perfect fourth, put a tritone on top. That one's great. That's like a F minor with a flat 6, but also with a 9 up at the top. A lot of these voicings end up being really non-committal, kind of open sounds. You know, they may not have a third in them or a 7 in them, and so maybe they're a little undefinable, they're a little suspended sounding, but I like voicings like that. They got a lot of mystery to them. It makes your imagination fill things in sometimes. Or voicings that don't sound like they want to resolve or stay the same. They're just kind of stuck in between. And then the tension, the slight tension and suspension kind of becomes the feeling. It like becomes the thing. And that concludes our lesson. If you've got any comments, questions, things I can improve, things you noticed, things I missed, whatever it is, put them in the comments below. I also invite you to subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Now go practice. And that includes me too. Go practice.